All right, I'm live and excited. It is Monday, October 5th, 2020. Excited to come on live with each and every one of you today to talk about something I think we all can relate to. So if you're just joining us, thanks so much for watching. I am broadcasting live on my Facebook, podcast, YouTube, different social media pages and business pages as well. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay and it's not rubbing against my thing here. But anyway, if you're just joining us, go ahead and comment where you're watching from. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for being on today. I'm going to get into the content here in about 15, 20 seconds. But again, hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. Hope all is well with each and every one of you. And as you're joining us, thanks so much. Candy, welcome. Good evening. Again, if you're just joining us, go ahead and comment where you're watching from, and I'll go ahead and get started here in about 10 seconds. Welcome, buddy. Thanks so much for being on. Welcome. All right. Welcome, Neil. So every Monday and Tuesday I come on here by myself, and every Wednesday I come on to do the You vs. You show, and I interview some amazing energy healers, coaches, and also professional entrepreneurs about the You vs. You battle. But every Monday I come on and I think about what is the problem that a lot of us are facing right now. So I want to talk about the biggest problem that you and I are facing, and it's so annoying. It's driving you nuts. I promise you what I'm about to tell you, it's exasperating. You're just so tired of this. And it's called not your phone, but it's the news that is on your phone. It is the news that's on CNN. It's the news on Fox News. It's the things that you see if you have notifications, which I've taken all my notifications off, even text messaging. If I got to go get a text, I got to go in and actually look at my text messages, because we live in a world that's constantly notification. And especially when it comes to the news, it's like breaking news. This just in, kind of like one of my favorite movies, Anchorman, right? With Will Ferrell. It's like breaking news, right? Well, here's the challenge. There's nothing breaking news, right? So I want to share the problem and the hell that not only Americans are facing right now, but really the world. And of course, Americans are facing it the most because of the election, okay? And this video is not specifically about the election at all, but enough is enough. So for me, I can't, tell anyone to do anything, because obviously I don't want to come off that way. But for me, I don't really watch the news. I've actually, Pastor Rick Warren said something many, many months ago when COVID was starting to happen. And, it's easy to really dive into the whole COVID, right? And that's the problem that a lot of people have. They're like, they don't know, they don't have certainty about the future. How many of you feel kind of like that way? It's like, I don't have certainty of the future. I don't know what I'm going to do. So therefore, I got to keep looking at the news. What's going on? Is Donald Trump okay? Is he not okay? Where is our country going to go, et cetera? Well, here's what we've done. In the middle of all of this, Pastor Rick Warren said, even if you stop looking at the news for 6 months, not much is really going to change 6 months later. And you might think, oh yeah, lots can change. I mean, my gosh, we're in an election year, et cetera. And I get that, but let's talk about your personal life. Is anything really going to change 6 months from now in your personal life if you stop looking at the news? Would you guys agree? So how many of you are kind of tired of looking at the news? You're tired of breaking news. You're tired of hearing all of the negativity. And when you go on to this, and as I've gotten older, so I'm 39 years old, I'll be 40 at the end of this year. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I go on to get the news, maybe on TV, now obviously our TV is right here, it's just getting worse. I mean, it's like, it's the end of the world. It's doomsday. I'm looking at this and it's just like, oh my gosh, if you keep getting sucked in, no matter how positive of a person that you are, you will get sucked into the negativity, okay? And I got to tell you, 90% or more of the news is fake news, okay? Or it's over-exaggerated news. It's not the real thing. The whole sky is not falling down. I'm telling you, we've also been down this path before. As you look at even COVID, and you might say, wow, this has never happened to mankind. It's actually not true. In 1918, the Great Plague happened, or the bubonic plague. That already happened 100 plus years ago, okay? Now, of course, we have way better medication, and we have way better hospitalization, and we're much more knowledgeable 100 years later in 2020 than we were in 1918 and to 1920. But this has already happened in our country. It's happened around the world 100 plus years ago. So this is not the first time something like this has happened in our world. But we can start thinking, man, why is this happening to us? Why, man? And the other thing is, we're not in the same boat all the time. A lot of people are saying, we're all in this together. That's not true at all. We're not in all this together. There's people that can't feed their families tonight, and there's billionaires that are getting much more richer than they were 4, 5, 6 months ago. So here's the deal. So that's the problem. That's the hell. We're sick and tired of it. Every time we go on Facebook or every time we go on Instagram, we're seeing negative news. We're seeing celebrities that maybe we like, maybe we don't like anymore, because they're constantly negative. They're posting about the riots. They're posting about who to vote for, and it's daunting. Would you guys agree? Here's the good news. I survived, and I know a lot of you survived 2008. So how many of you remember 2008 when the real estate market collapsed? In fact, I've been a business owner for 20 years. I've been working from home, and I've been able to look at the reality of things, but also benefit, not obviously from COVID, but benefit from opportunity. Right now, we're sitting on the most amazing opportunities that you've ever seen. I mean, if you look at the stock market, you look at what's happening with even like Zoom, right? So like Zoom.com, if you invested $10,000, let's say in March, where would that $10,000 be now if you just invested all your money into Zoom or Tesla? We are living in times where, yes, it's uncertain, and there's some situations and some difficult situations in the economy where traditional businesses might be failing. A third of small businesses are going to be out of business by the end of 2020. And you might see like a dark cloud on that, but I see a silver lining. You have to look at the positive. But the first thing that you want to do to get the heaven in your life, to start getting some breathing room, is turn your notifications off. That's the first thing I would do. Don't look at news all the time. Okay, it's okay to look at it once in a while just to make sure, whatever, if you got to look at it. But if you want to create heaven in your life, you've got to start to not look at that. Because it's just like watching a horror movie. If we're watching horror movies all the time, right? No matter if you like them or not, it's going to mess up your brain. Okay, you see someone getting slashed up all the time, and you're starting to get numb to it. And if you're looking at the news all the time, you're starting to get numb to it. And if you're starting to get numb to negativity, well, guess what you're going to start being? Pessimistic, not optimistic, right? You're going to be negative to your spouse. You're going to be negative to the people around you. And you're going to be one of those Debbie Downers that's always probably bringing people down because you're freaking out, you're nervous. So the bottom line is, I'll just share this last thing with you here, my personal perspective. It's just changing the narrative to your story. See, as an author myself, writing is one of my favorite things to do. But in real life, you could be the author of your real life and just start to create a different narrative. So a lot of people are like, I just want 2020 to be over with. Well, I got to tell you, I mean, I've never had a better year in my life. And I'm not here to brag at all. In fact, I'm thinking of whose mortgage I can pay. I'm thinking of who can I bless. I'm thinking about more money that I can give other than 10%. And you would think like right now is not time to give money away. But for me, it kind of is. It really is that opportunity that, even in our business, we have a nonprofit, and we're putting, a certain percentage away of all of our revenue to give, to our nonprofit. And that's going to do amazing things for a lot of amazing people. But even now, it's like I'm starting to think not just about my bills or not just about my family, but who can I really bless? Who's struggling with their mortgage right now, or maybe I can just pay their mortgage without them even knowing. And that is that, in a world where, and the reason I'm bringing that up is I'm not going to say what I'm going to do on publicly, but I'm just saying I'm thinking that way. Does that make sense? In the way that I'm starting to come to that conclusion of thinking the way that I'm thinking is because in March and April, when this all happened, I buckled down and I started to focus. And I started to focus on, okay, I know this is happening around me, but I'm bigger on the inside. And I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to surround myself with incredible people. And we're going to do incredible things that really help people in these situations. And that's exactly what we've done. And now it's October. So this has been one of the most incredible years in my household. And it can be incredible for you still if it's not. But you have to focus on changing the narrative of your story, because if you change your story, you change your life. And if you're constantly worried about your story, well, one of these days you have to wake up and say, I am the author I'm the one that writes the story. Now, I know you might believe in God, and a lot of us do, but God, yes, he has a will for you, but he also gave us the power of free will. So, yes, God knows what direction you will choose, but at the end of the day, you still have to choose. Does that make sense? So you can choose to be negative. You can choose to not really take action. You can choose to kind of wait around, or you can write your own story the way that you want to write it and speak life into existence and actually create the life that you want to, just like I have as soon as COVID happened. Now, it's not easy. This is not the easier road. Sometimes it's more difficult. You're going against maybe what your friends and family are doing, because a lot of your friends and family are worried and watching Fox News and CNN and, even posting negative stuff. But that's why you got to get out of that. Okay. You got to get out of that mess and into a better inner circle. And that's what, we can offer you for free, by the way. If you're interested, you can join our Facebook group. Again, this isn't a pitch, but we just want to invite you to that if you want to. And in this Facebook group page, I and a lot of our partners teach you how to be a successful leader. Part of the you versus you battle is you got to lead yourself, and you have to learn how to do that, because no one's going to teach you how to lead unless you ask. Does that make sense? You can't, and you're also not going to be able to figure out one day, I'm just going to be a great leader. I'm going to lead my finances. I'm going to lead my family. I'm going to lead my children. I'm going to lead my body. I'm going to have the best, you have to really learn how to lead. Does that make sense? And you can't lead anyone else unless you lead yourself. So I want to invite you to be a part of our group page, as well. And I'll post the information. And of course, you can always DM me, and I can give you the link, and we'll accept you, we'll approve you, and it's all free. And we want to not only help come alongside of you and help you learn how to lead, but also energy healing. A lot of people are going through such an emotional trauma. There's such things in the world as spiritual warfare, entities. There could be an entity on you where you're not even yourself. Does that make sense? You're feeling down and depressed, and it gets worse and worse and worse. That's because there could be an entity on you. It could be a curse on you. A lot of people are, you say we're cursed. Well, that is actually a very true statement. There are certain people that are cursed. And in order for you to remove those curses, you definitely need help with an energy healer. Okay. And, God's given us the ability to heal our body if we get cut. Well, we also have the ability with our hands to help heal others and also ourselves. Okay. So again, our page teaches you how that works. Okay. So there's a lot in that, and we're emotional beings, but we're also physical beings. So we want to come alongside of you and offer help. Give you a solution to the problem that you're facing right now. And I know the problem that we're facing is just we're constantly being bombarded, but you have the choice to shut off that TV. Does that make sense? So if you're sitting even home alone tonight, and you're just wondering why you're depressed, why you're not where you want to be in life financially or health or whatever, well, it's probably because you're watching the TV. So just turn that thing off. As soon as you turn that off, or turn this off, or put it on mute or silent, well, like I said to my staff today, the birds are still chirping. If it's in the middle of the day, the sun's still out. Nature doesn't care who's going to be elected or not. Birds still carry on, and they're just animals. So think about you as an amazing human being. There is life even during COVID. Don't wait for life after COVID. There's life right now during COVID. And this could be an amazing opportunity for you to get focused and get clarity that maybe that original route that you thought before COVID, maybe that's just not the route you want to take anymore. This is a time to be creative. This is a time to build something for yourself and put your energy and your passion, whatever that looks like, into something, because life is so short. As we know, of all the people that have passed away, all the people that have gotten sick, it's real. COVID is real. And at the end of the day, you have to participate in your own rescue. And that's what I want to just inspire you today to do. And that's why I do these lives, to really inspire you, whoever is watching, whoever is taking this in, to inspire you to do something about it. And that use this as a positive thing in your life. And then you'll look back and say, I'm so glad I did, as opposed to, gee, I wish I would have. And I think so many people are going to say, gee, I wish I would have. I sat around. I put on the news too much. I got too much anxiety. I was fearing too much. I thought I was going to get a better outcome, but you're never going to get a great outcome if you're just getting, that absorbed in your head constantly. You're absorbing all this negative energy. You got to absorb the positive energy. Does that make sense? And if you're not around it, you got to create it. In order for you to create it, you got to start leading. And the first person that you need to lead is, guess what? Yourself. So that's just an encouragement for you. Hopefully that helps you. And, start with a book, start with a podcast, start with going out for a walk, going out to exercise, writing down every day. You should be journaling. What do you want to do with your life? Getting clarity, getting help, being a part of our private Facebook group page will really help you as we do live healings on Facebook Live in this page specifically. So it's going to be exciting. Love to have you, love to add value, love to partner with you any way that we can to help you grow in a time where you might think it's not the appropriate time to grow because we have to just wait around for all these politicians to make up our future, but you are the author of your own life. So start acting like it. Does that make sense? Here's a pen, here's a pad, write out the rest of your future because you can speak anything into existence if you just believe you have that power. And believe me, you do. So thanks so much for watching this, guys. DM me if you want that link, and I'll also put it into this as well so we can add you and add value to you in your life every single week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Appreciate it.